Lovely and welcome to Forever Sports. Full-time New Zealand 23, Ireland 13. In the end, a very comfortable victory for the All Blacks against the number one side in the world, who unfortunately looked a lot of things tonight, but did not look like the number one side in the world. Not at the races were Andy Farrell's men, and frustrating for them because this would have been the big game they would have been targeting to have won this Autumn Nation Series. And it'll be interesting to see how they respond next week because I think that towards the end of the game, we started to see the island that we kind of expected to see. So was it a bit of rustiness, for example? Haven't played in a while. Did the All Blacks play particularly well? I think it's a bit of a combination of both. I do think that Ireland were kind of off their game. New Zealand had that sort of 20-minute period in that second half where they suddenly looked really good. They came back from behind. I thought they navigated the yellow card to Geordie Barrett very, very well. And Mackenzie was pretty flawless off the tee, missing, I think, just two in the end. But very, very impressive. And what was quite strange is there was a New Zealand performance where they didn't score a try until the 68th minute. All the points before that coming off the boot of Damian McKenzie. It took a try from Will Jordan right towards the death of the game to win it in the end with that try from Josh van der Fleer in the 42nd minute, at one stage being sort of the deciding factor. Before we break the game down, please do smash the like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Very, very sloppy first half from both teams, if we're going to be brutally honest. Irish mistakes are plenty, and the referee, Nick Berry, penalising quite a lot, especially the obstruction, for example, and the likes of that. So, I mean, 3 penalties from McKenzie, 2 penalties from Crowley, 6 points to 9 at first half, which didn't really fit the occasion, to be honest. Both teams were a little bit sloppy, weren't quite at the races, weren't quite good enough. The intensity wasn't there. Maybe towards the end of the first half, the intensity was there. But then all of a sudden, the second half, both teams started to sort of slowly click into gear. Ireland started really well in the second half with that one-man advantage, with Josh van der Fleer going over in the 42nd minute, Crowley adding the extras, 13 points to 9. And you think, here we go. Is this now the time where Ireland are going to start building and start trying to take grip of the game? But it just wasn't, to be perfectly honest. I thought New Zealand handled the yellow card to Geordie Barrett really well. Damian McKenzie actually got a penalty to make it a 1-point game. So when Barrett went into the bin, they led by 3. By the time he came back, they trailed by 1. So it was only a 4-point margin. So it wasn't that big of a deal, the yellow card, in the end. And after that, I thought the All Blacks suddenly started looking really good. They looked really dangerous. They had a very good period where they were putting a lot of pressure on Ireland. 61 minutes penalty, 64 minutes penalty, 68 minutes try. And that kind of blitz of 11 points was the difference in the end. And Ireland, they just made far too many mistakes. I mean, I think back to simple moments, but that Kieran Frawley drop under the high ball, no pressure on, and spills forward just when they really needed to start clicking into gear. They were uncharacteristic errors to this Irish team's performance. The attacking shape, for example, that we've known for so long and so well, and we come to expect from Ireland, basically wasn't there until about the 70th minute. And then all of a sudden they woke up and suddenly they were like, oh, well, sure, but here they are. But in general, I just thought it was a shadow of the side we're used to seeing. And it happens. You have bad games. But it was very weird to see Ireland so poor. And this is nothing away from New Zealand. I thought they played well. I thought they fronted up from the pack perspective. They didn't get bullied. I thought Damian McKenzie kicked beautifully. I think he's actually been given man of the match. So I thought he controlled the game really well. Just want to check. Yeah, he is the man of the match. So I thought that he played really well. Under a little pressure as well, but no Beauden Barrett. But if you look at some of the stats, for example, the New Zealanders only entered this 22 6 times, 1.8 average points per entry to the 22. The ruck speed, for example, Ireland characteristic a lot better. New Zealand slowed things down a little bit, but it's the discipline at the end of the day. I think when we look at the penalties conceded, Ireland discipline was really poor. So territory-wise, almost dead on even. Possession, New Zealand was 60% or 59%. The set plays, the New Zealand line was better. I thought the Ireland line was really poor, actually. Just didn't look very organised. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see Peter O'Mahony going straight back into that lineup next week, because he does show up the lineup. Whatever you might think about him as a player, whether he's good enough or not yet, he makes that lineup a lot better. If you look at the scrums, I thought New Zealand eventually started to get some scrum dominance, and it was pretty easy. I think the first scrum penalty came in the second half. But on attack, far more post-contact meters from New Zealand. I mean, it's been a long time since we've seen Ireland only make 87 carries, for example, 177 post-contact meters, just one line break. This has been one of the best attacking sides in the world for a number of years, and tonight just wasn't there. Penalties conceded, 13. That's what I mentioned. The discipline, shocking. Compared to New Zealand, who just 5 penalties conceded. So much better. Defensively was a lot better as well. I thought New Zealand kicked better in general. In terms of some individual performances, Will Jordan, Dave McKenzie topping the carries chart, as well as Wallace Satiti, who continues to look really good. But 18 points from the boot of Dave McKenzie. He won almost 400 meters worth of kick meters. Line breaks, Will Jordan with 2. Attacks completed, James Ryan, Ty Bird, Josh Flair putting in a big shift. They had to. They were under a lot of pressure defensively. But this is supposed to be the revenge game from Ireland, and it wasn't to be. I do think this New Zealand side are getting progressively better, and I think they deserved the win 100%. It was an uncharacteristically poor game from Ireland, though, and I expect to see a response from them. But New Zealand, they've gone 2 from 2. They've gone and beaten England at home. They've gone and beaten Ireland England in their backyard. They've beaten Ireland in their backyard. So is this New Zealand announcing themselves as back? I think they've still got a long way to go. But I think the main thing is this is a New Zealand side missing Ethan de Groot, missing Cody Taylor, missing Bowden Barrett. A couple other guys that'll come to me eventually. But the couple of guys that are injured and are not available, and yet they still looked really good. And I think they're only going to get better. So obviously, it was always going to be interesting to see when Scott Robertson's influence would start to show. We're starting to see, I think, slowly but surely. But I was very impressed with the game management of New Zealand tonight. Taking points, for example, just building an innings, a game of attrition. And wasn't necessarily characteristic of a standard New Zealand performance. It's what they needed tonight, and it's what got the job done. Let me know what you thought down in the comments below. Smash like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve, and I'll chat to you soon.